one-to-one class, and I'm pretty sure that student didn't disclose it, but got people know I tell them something in the class. So the teacher is too free already, until they go and watch my what you call, the only thing is recording. So how on earth they know through the recording? So they're too free until they can watch my recording. So this is how stupid I always think it. Your school teacher sometimes, not all, I won't say all, some teachers, there are some teachers. I don't understand why they just, or maybe other students saw it. Maybe then they tell also can. They are like. Okay, now let's see. We're gonna talk about the gaseous exchange in humans. Okay, then now let's see the partial pressure. What is called partial pressure? Partial pressure and pressure is a different thing. Partial pressure is like, inside our air, we got nitrogen, we got hydrogen, we got oxygen, we got what you call that, sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, right? And they all have their own percentage, correct? So partial pressure is we just within the percentage of that up and down, means that more or less. That's called partial pressure. Like for example, the oxygen essentially in the air is more than the carbon dioxide, right? It's around 16% to, I forget already, the composition of air. Because you see, when you work, it doesn't necessary to half out everything. It's around 20% of oxygen, and other gases like carbon dioxide, them all are less than 1%. Let's say now, when you breathe in oxygen more, now the oxygen will go to your lung, through your lung, enter your blood, correct? The blood will release the carbon dioxide. Now, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in blood reduce or increase? No, inhale in blood. Decrease, because they already accept oxygen, right? So now the partial pressure of carbon dioxide decrease and the partial pressure of oxygen increases. Now, in your lung, the partial pressure of oxygen now become low because after you breathe in, the oxygen has been going, right? That in low, but the carbon dioxide increase, correct? Because you already get from the blood back. But does it mean that the composition of carbon dioxide is more than oxygen? No, because 16% and 20% to 0 point something percent, you can't overcome the pressure, you can't overcome the quantity easily, correct? Okay, so that's why we call partial pressure, where we just compare like oxygen to oxygen, carbon dioxide to carbon dioxide, like that. Why we can't say pressure? Because pressure, does it change? It doesn't change. Because when you breathe in, when oxygen go out, carbon dioxide comes in, they are actually being replaced. So in terms of pressure of air, it doesn't change anything. But the partial pressure, yes. Means that the one that less has been already substituted by other. So that's why we call partial pressure. So it means that we only see part of it. This is how. Okay, so the gas diffusion depends on the partial pressure difference between the two areas. So similar, partial pressure high go to partial pressure low area. Okay, so the gas diffuse from an area which the partial pressure is higher to an area which is the partial pressure is lower. Where down a partial pressure gradient. When normally we say pressure, high pressure to low pressure, follow pressure gradient. This one, partial pressure, so partial pressure gradient. Can Okay, you must understand, this one very important. If you want to go for medic, this one is for sure very important. Because later on you will find out your blood also, you have so many, we have the partial pressure for red blood cell, partial pressure for white blood cell. Inside white blood cell, you got granum, you have what you call leukocyte, you have lymphocyte, so many. So the idea of partial pressure, you must understand at least. Don't worry, they won't ask. You just need to understand what's the meaning. They won't ask you what is partial pressure. No, you just need to understand the theory. I mean the concept of partial pressure. So this is how it do. So when the blood from pulmonary artery from heart, it carries the deoxygenation generated blood. Deoxygenated blood means that the oxygen is high or low. Partial pressure low, yeah, because carry from heart first time to lung heart to lung, low oxygen content. So we call that is deoxygenated blood. Then after that, the oxygen will diffuse into the red blood cell. At the same time, the carbon dioxide will diffuse into the alveolus from the blood. So then it go out to pulmonary vein, which is what kind of blood? Oxygenated blood, which contain high partial pressure of oxygen. Okay, so you see, so in lung, the blood that enter the lung capillaries contain a higher partial pressure of carbon dioxide compared to the alveolus. So the carbon dioxide will diffuse out from the lung capillary and into the alveolus before it is expelled into the atmosphere through the nose and mouth. Okay, can you understand what I say? Okay, now the partial pressure of oxygen in the alveolus is higher than the lung capillary. So the oxygen will diffuse into the lung capillary. And oxygen will combine with hemoglobin in electrocyte. What is called electrocyte? Another name for that is red blood cell. Okay, to form oxyhemoglobin. Okay, so who is the one carrying carbon dioxide? You think? Try and guess. Have a wild guess. Who carry the carbon dioxide? Yes, hemoglobin as well. And the other name is called carboxy hemoglobin. Okay? Yes, the name is very easy because carbon dioxide, carboxy. Oxygen, oxy. Easy. Why carboxy? Because you have carbon and oxygen. So that's why combined carboxy. Okay? Now, this is how. So you see, the blood that enter the lung through the pulmonary artery, they have a low partial pressure of oxygen and high partial pressure of carbon dioxide. So then they under gaseous exchange at alveolus. Then come back, the blood that leaves the lung through the pulmonary vein has high partial pressure of oxygen and low partial pressure of carbon dioxide. Okay, now the cellular respiration will release carbon dioxide, and the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the cell is higher than the tissue capillary. Okay, it's because you release the what you call? Yeah. Those what you call those street workers. There, because it's now raining right for a long time, so their quota for today haven't finished. So now they are continue the work. Oh, very pity. Luckily, we got this kind of workers. That's why I'm quite appreciative somehow. I don't know. I'm actually quite angry when there are some people they are not really that. They are not really. I wouldn't say respect. Maybe they don't really appreciate what they do, you know. They will say, they will tend to look down to this kind of people. But try to imagine that if you don't have this kind of workers help you, what's going to happen? Are you going to clean your own front? I mean, the long guy? No, you have to clean yourself if you know this kind of worker, right? So that's why sometimes I was a bit, I'm actually quite appreciative. So I was a bit angry. There are some people who tend to like treat them, I mean, not equally. So for me, I think a bit, and also those with the what you call waiters. The waiters sometimes get scolded for, come on, and just, I mean, they were mistakes only. That's just a mistake. So why you need to go and get so angry sometimes, right? I have seen one before where I was get angry as well. Not angry to the guy. There's one guy who sit, I think, next my next table. Oh, he go and slap the waiter. I was getting quite angry. So I go out and say, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Why you want to, I mean, for me, why you want to go until so this violence, right? You go and slap the people. Just because of, okay, he missed the thing, yes. He's not even hurt. Yes, of course, the shirt get a bit wet or something. But I'm not that angry. My friend even angry. My friend is like the gongsi galap guy. He go and slap back the guy. That's I didn't recommend that. I will say I don't recommend or encourage this kind of act. But somehow, I think he's correct. That guy should be treated this way. My friend is that kind of people. He looks very, how to say, you would thought that he's very polite person. You would thought that he's actually the gongsi glove guy, something like that. You know, he wear the suit, everything, and he's and the thing is, he get an MBA. He is a master in business admin. Hi, and I always say we don't really afraid of gongsi glove, but we are afraid to the intellectual of gongsi glove, something like that. It was that guy was a very funny one. His whole family is very high educational, you know. His younger brother also a master. His elder brother is a PhD, but all of them gongsi glove. Very fun one, quite funny. The case quite funny. So you don't think that only what you say, what we call the one who cannot study, then you have to become gongsi glove. No, nowadays even the intellect people will also go to gongsi glove as well. Very funny one. Okay, now let's come back. Okay, like I said, I didn't encourage the act, but somehow I was quite happy that time. Okay, now so the carbon dioxide will diffuse out from the body cell into the tissue capillary and is transported back to the lungs. And when the blood reaches the tissue through the tissue capillaries, so the partial pressure of oxygen in the blood will be higher than that in the body cell because the cellular respiration will use up the oxygen. Somehow, even when you sleep, most of the time, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is always higher than oxygen. That's why your blood need to flow continuously because they need to keep pumping and change in the lung, keep on using the oxygen because even you sleep, respiration still happen. Just the respiration rate is lower. When it happens, then you use up oxygen. Use up oxygen, carbon dioxide becomes higher. So that's why when people say, when you go to a place where lack of oxygen, you might get brain damage and finally die. Why? Because the carbon dioxide getting too much, and carbon dioxide will tend to become acid, carboxylic acid. And when your body's acidity is too high, it will actually break down the enzyme. No, it will stop inhibits the enzyme to function, and your body function will go down as well. Okay, so that's why, that's why you see when you want to go to Tibet, okay, or Nepal is also in the high mountain area. You need to go to do the they will ask you to do the medical checkup. Because the oxygen capacity is lower. The partial pressure of oxygen is very low there. Not all can you will get fainted easily one. You'll get fainted easily. My father went to We call that is Jiuzaigo, Sichuan, where it's a high mountain. You see, all the time, most of the time are snowing there. So it's a very high altitude place. So the moment he stepped up from the bus, he almost fainted. Because your body need time to adapt. So normally when the bus stop, they will open up the open up the door first. And then you have to sit there first. Don't go down first. You have to sit there, let your brain and your body adapt to the low oxygen level, pressure level first. Then you go down. If no, your brain might suddenly lack of oxygen, because he operate normally. So lack of oxygen, then suddenly you get fainted. See, this is very, very dangerous one. And also, when you go to the very high altitude, not Genting Highland, I mean the very high one, okay, which is snowing or freezing all the time. Okay, you have to be careful when you go to toilet as well. Because when you release urine, your body temperature, liquid temperature go down, right? The partial pressure go down, you might get fainted as well. That one even funnier. You got to get fainted in the toilet. See? So you have to be careful. That's why when they have a last time when there is a when they try to fight the US, China, there's a history between we call the North Korean War. Between the Chinese and the Chinese help the North Korean to defend against the USA. That time, they have to climb through a high mountain. They have to pass through the high mountain. So they are actually 10% of them die because they don't know. You see, they only know, you see, those kind of people, they even fight using the blade last time. And while the US already got machine gun, they fight using the blade. How they know that high pressure, low pressure, right? So that's why so many die because of this. When they go to talk, die. So better be careful. Okay. Now, so the transport of carbon dioxide in the blood circulatory system. So the carbon dioxide is transported in three ways. 70% are in the form of bicarbonate ion, HCO3, where that's why I say when you didn't release it, it will become, because HCO3 is actually, if you release it, it will become H2CO3, which is CO2, which is H2CO3, which is the carboxylic acid. Okay, and then 23% are in carbonic, 23% are combined with hemoglobin to form carbamino, not carboxyl, carbamino hemoglobin. Now they changed the name, my time it's called carboxyl. Now it's called carbamino hemoglobin. And 7% are, like I said, carbonic acid. So when you still getting higher and higher, so the carbonic acid will getting higher and higher, because this bicarbonate ion is highly unstable. They will tend to form stable structure, which is carbonic acid. And the bond between carbon dioxide and hemoglobin also is not stable either. Because they just stick like that. Like your sticky note. Blow, gone. Same goes here. Okay? Now, so this is how the systemic gas what the hell? Okay. Now, this is how the systemic gas exchange. 7% of them, okay, from CO2, from the respiring issue, went to become the dissolved carbon dioxide gas. 23% of them will combine with plasma protein, become carbamino compound. 70% of them will be combined with this and form chloride shift. This is called chloride shift. Is, you see, this is the just how it's called already. The this one carbonic no, not carbonic acid. What you call it? This one bicarbonate ion. The bicarbonate ion we call, and then it will combine with Cl minus later if you left it too long time. So they call this as chloride shift. And 98% oxygen is from the hemoglobin to, this is called the oxyhemoglobin. Oxyhemoglobin. Okay. And this one will be through the dissolved oxygen gas in the plasma protein and water. Okay, these are the structure. Now, so the carbon dioxide is released by the body, bind with water, form carbonic acid. So the carbonic anhydrase enzyme in the electrolyte will catalyze the reaction. So the carbonic acid will break down into bicarbonate and hydrogen ion. And then the bicarbonate ion will diffuse into the blood plasma and carry to the lung. Okay, then carry to the lung. So the CO2 will be released, left OH and combine back with this hydrogen ion, become water again. This is how. That's why people say you will get you will die from the the blood poisonous blood. This poisonous blood is this one. Okay. So when the bicarbonate ion in the blood plasma, it reach the lung capillary, so it diffuse back into the electrolyte, and now the bicarbonate will combine again with hydrogen ion to form carbonic acid, and the carbonic acid then break down again to carbon dioxide and water, like I said. So the carbon dioxide then will diffuse through the lung capillary into the alveolus, and it will expel during the exhalation. Okay, can you understand? Pretty sure. Now your school until where? Chapter 8 now. Oh, they just enter or faster than us? Oh, okay, okay. Can I? All right, try to do this. Okay, meanwhile, I can have my, what I call that, lunch and dinner. I don't know the name. Normally, we call breakfast and, what you call? Breakfast and, what? Call brunch, correct? This one is lunch and dinner. I don't know the name. Oh, I better put it in the bowl somehow because there is what I call it, mayonnaise. Yeah. This morning we thought that you forget the class. This morning, we all thought that you forget the class. But I tell them that yesterday night you did reply the message, so I think you shouldn't. We all thought that you. Oh, that's right. Oh yeah, I should take a photo to my mom. Why? Because my mom likes this very much. They go KL without me, that's why I was angry. 不要羡慕啊，不要羡慕。 Okay, now I just finished. Okay, thank you. Now let's see. So what's the value of partial pressure of oxygen in the atmospheric pressure? So the partial pressure of oxygen is 116 mmHg. This one is mercury. Okay. So how we calculate that is by using 0.21, which is 21% times 660. Okay. 660 is the total partial pressure for air, and which is equals to 160. Okay. This one you need to jot down because it's not provided in the slide. Yeah. Actually, I forget to add it inside. And you need to remember how, not the down one, this one just as a knowledge, let you know only. The thing is this one. Now, in what form of carbon dioxide transport in human blood circulatory system? In bicarbonate ion, carbonic acid, and carbaminohemoglobin. Okay. Next. Explain how carbon dioxide is transported from lung capillary to alveolus. So when bicarbonate ion in the blood plasma reach the lung capillary, they diffuse again into the electrocyte, which is your red blood cell. So the bicarbonate ion now combine with the hydrogen ion to form the carbonic acid. And carbonic acid will be dissociated, or you can say break down, into carbon dioxide and water. And carbon dioxide will diffuse out from the lung capillary into the alveoli and is expelled during the exhalation. Okay, correct? Huh? All right. Now, in what form is the oxygen carried to the tissue? So, oxygen is transported in the form of oxyhemoglobin. Okay. All right. Now, let's see the health issue that related to the human respiratory system. Now, first, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which consists of asthma, chronic bronchitis, and emphysema. Chronic bronchitis is the your bronchial get infected. We call inflammable bronchial. And then the emphysema is like even worse, where the radang or your inflammation pass through even until the bronchitis. Okay. So this is how it looks like. So this is a normal air passage for normal bronchial, and for the asthma patient, it will become like this. You see the air passage will be narrow, where the bronchial wall is swollen and thick. It is like inflammable. Then for the bronchitis one is even smaller. And okay, this is a chronic bronchitis one. And emphysema is, like I said, the inflammation now pass into the alveolus. You see? Now the alveolus in the normal, this one become bigger. It become bigger, but the inside, the air passage now even narrower. Okay? Now let's see. So for emphysema, in emphysema, the alveolus will lose the elasticity and increase in size. The elasticity is very important because the air comes in, it will have to, like balloon, it will have to expand so that more air can go inside. If it lost the elasticity, so less air can be stored. Okay? And then the alveolus wall will be damaged, and the total surface area of alveolus will decreases. And the gaseous exchange now become less efficient. Bronchitis. In chronic bronchitis, the bronchiole now become inflamed, swollen, and blocked. So it will reduce the flow of air and cause difficulties in breathing. And a large amount of mucus will form and will cause a continuous coughing. And damaged cilium will also cause the difficulty in expelling the mucus. Cilium is like this one. In the wall, they got lots of the projection. This projection is to push the mucus out. Okay? It's like your kahak. That mucus is your kahak actually. You know what's kahak? That one. Then for asthma patient. So the bronchial wall becomes swollen and thick. So the opening of bronchial tube becomes smaller and the air passage becomes narrower. So this will lead to difficulty in breathing and cause breathlessness. Okay, so the level is like asthma, chronic bronchitis, and then emphysema. The level from the air tract to bronchial to alveolus. This is how. Okay, can I? All right, try to do this. And with this, we finish chapter 8. None. Okay, so let's see the answer. Now, what are the effect of chronic bronchitis on the bronchiole, where your bronchioles will become inflamed, swollen, and clogged? And then explain the condition of bronchial walls in asthmatic patient, where the bronchial walls swell and thicken. The opening of bronchial tube will become smaller and the airway become narrower. And how does the usage of an inhaler, help an asthmatic patient to breathe? Because the inhaler will reduce the inflammation and open up the bronchial tubes so that the air can flow easily. And explain why the gaseous exchange become less efficient for an emphysema patient, because the alveoli walls become damaged and the surface area of the alveoli is reduced and the gaseous exchange become less efficient. Okay. Okay, wait ah. Okay, try these two questions. Okay. Can see clearly, ah? Okay, question 10, you see, okay, air pollution, right? Air pollution. Okay, in this case, how to say, um, you need something that can easily see, correct? Okay, though if you want to see the indicator easily, okay, which part is the easiest way? Who breathe through screen? Yes. So frog is the one. So that's why you just need to mention why you choose frog, because not only lung but it can breathe through skin. So how you indicate it? So let's say if the what you call the pollution is very high, right? So the skin sorry will be crop, correct? When we crop, so the breathing efficiency will be go down or go high, go down. So that's why the frog are the most sensitive one. Can you understand? Okay. 这对面加拿给我是刚刚，因为阿满面不在嘛，所以就变成是我的了。 Done, huh? All right, so let's see the answer. Hey, why is this? The hell? Wait, let me. All right, now let's see the answer. So air pollution makes breathing difficult in animal and human. So if you're a scientist, which animal will you choose as an indicator, okay, of pollution level in a particular area? So then explain the justification. First, frog will be the most suitable animal as an indicator of air pollution level. Because although the frog possesses a pair of lungs, but the main respiratory organ is the skin. And unlike the heart, the air that diffuses through the skin is not filtered. Therefore, the air pollution may cause the skin to be clogged by tiny particles. Okay? And clogged skin will reduce the efficiency of gaseous exchange and cause the death to the frog. That's why frogs are more sensitive to air pollution compared to other vertebrates. Okay? Oh, 我以为你自己做的，我厉害呀。没有啊，这是那个什么的了，那人打个对面家的那老板打包的。哦，OK OK，哦，看起来有这个公式的。哦，OK OK，哦，看起来有这个公式的。没有啦，只是给你试一下罢了。这个是他讲不，他哪里买的？他老婆讲很好吃，他就想顺便打包来给我们的。OK 啊，All right, let's see 11. So all mammals breathe through the lungs, as with mammals that live in the sea like whales and dolphin. Dolphin also mammals. Mammals. You guys know, huh? So how does the whale breathe in water? Okay. Later on, you don't like people ask when the question asks dolphin fish type of fish, you write dolphin. Dolphin is not fish there. It's not fish actually, not categorized as fish. So whales are able to store a very high concentration of oxygen in their blood and muscle. That's why the size is because the size is very big. Okay, so they inhale at the sea surface and hold their breath when submerging. So the water that is sprayed out when you go to sea surface is actually the what I call he release the water with more than carbon dioxide. Okay, so apart from keeping a high concentration of oxygen in their blood and muscle, their body metabolism and heartbeat is reduced when the whale dive. Because when he dive to very deep one, and the temperature is very low. When temperature goes low, your metabolism rate and heartbeat will go slow as well. Okay. So the arteries in some part also constrict to reduce the blood circulation so that particular part to save to that particular part to save the oxygen consumption. And the saved oxygen is channeled to other important body parts like heart, sensory organs, and brain. So with this, a whale is able to hold its breath for approximately 50 minutes before rising to the sea surface to breathe again. That's why whale is one of the fish type animal which is very afraid to net, because when it go and rise up means that is actually trying to breathe. So when it get net, it cannot go upstairs, so it will die easily. Okay. All right. So jot down the correction.
哦，看起来还是 OK 的。凤是什么来的那个？
猜了，它是素的薄片。 Okay. All right. So, 9 minutes. Wait, I think we start a bit on chapter 9. So let's see chapter 9. We're going to talk about the human digestive system. Of course, first we start with digestive system. So the structure of human digestive system is made up of a long and muscular alimentary canal. Okay, start from your mouth straight until anus. Of course, along the way we have a food tract. Okay, esophagus, we call this as. And then we have a stomach, duodenum. This is duodenum. After duodenum, you go to the small intestines. All right, small intestines. From here enter the small intestines, then go to big intestines and anus. So now this is the structure. From mouth, inside the mouth, then we have a salivary gland and tongue. Then at the end here, we have a pharynx. Okay, esophagus, like I said, stomach, and then duodenum. He didn't say show, duodenum is this one. Then small intestines, large intestines, anus. Now, and we have appendix as well. From small intestines to big intestines, we have an appendix. Okay, and then we go to rectum and anus. Now, the enzyme are provided. There are also certain organ which will secrete hormone or enzyme, which is your liver, gallbladder, bile duct, and pancreas. Okay. Now, so the parts of the alimentary canal, we have mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestines, and anus. Like I said, I show you just now. And the other organ like liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. So they are the one who release the enzyme, and also together with salivary, gastric, and intestinal glands, which will secrete the digestive juices into the alimentary canal.
So they provide the enzyme.
Yes. They provide the enzyme, mostly enzyme, because enzyme will make the process go faster. Okay. Now, let me check. Physical. Okay, we can go second 1.2, digestion. Now, there are two types of digestion. So digestion is a process that breaks down the large and complex food into much more simple pieces, so that it can be dissolved easier. Okay, for easy absorptions. Okay, and digestion is made up of two parts, like I said, physical and chemical digestion. Now, physical digestion is a mechanical breakdown of food to form small particles. So it involves chewing and peristalsis. And also for your gastric is churning. Churning is like, because it's like this one, the movement, right? So when the peristalsis is like pressing. So when you press, like lots of this wet tissue, you press it and then you tell it will spit out, correct? Then when you went into the gastric it's like a bowl like this. So it will poop and create a turn. This is like your blender. So it's called churning. Okay. While chemical digestion is actually the decomposition process of complex molecule to simple molecule. Different, big to small is physical. Complex to simple is chemical digestion. And they involved in this one is the one who involved enzyme reaction. Okay. All right. So I guess I stop here because the next one we were going to talk about carbohydrate one. Start with carbohydrate. Actually, we will go through like the carbohydrate, protein, following your nutrition on the chapter 5. We start at water, no lah. They start at carbo, then protein, right? Carbo, protein, and then others. So we will go through like that as well. Okay. So I will stop here for today lah. Any questions? Okay. Good. So we shall continue on next class.